Have you done everything you're supposed to do in life, achieved society's definition of success? And do you still wonder,
Is this all there is?
do you want more out of life but don't know where to start? In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a concept called lifestyle design that will help you build the life you want. If you watch this video and follow the steps that I will introduce later in the video, it will change your life. So how do I know this process will help you? Because it's the very thing that I use to transform my life, and I've taught this same process to impact my clients' lives over the last 4 years. Several years ago, I was living what many would call a conventional life. I was working full-time, and all of my energy was focused on my career, working toward the next promotion, and making more money. I was pushing myself beyond my limits because that is what I felt like I should do. And as a result, my health and overall well-being suffered. I worked crazy hours, doing everything I could to deserve the next promotion and raise. Does this sound familiar? I pushed myself so far that I ended up needing to take a medical leave from work because of severe anxiety and panic attacks. And after taking that break, I was inspired by others who were bucking societal expectations and living extraordinary and unconventional lives. So I spent the next several years putting my life back together and learning that there's a new way to live and design your life. I'm going to share what I have learned and equip you with the framework that you need to design your ideal life. And it all centers around understanding lifestyle design. To actually define lifestyle design, I like to break it down into its component parts. So, what is lifestyle and what is design? And then let's put those two together. So let's start with lifestyle. Lifestyle is the sum total of your decisions for how you spend your time, your energy, and your money. And your lifestyle includes so many different areas. Sometimes, with the focus on work-life balance, it's easy to assume that there are only two parts to life, that there's work and then there's life. I think there's so much more than that. Your lifestyle does include work, but it also includes finances, fun and play, growth and learning, your relationships with your family and friends, and also well-being. Our physical, emotional, and mental health are incredibly important. And finally, it includes our legacy, the impact that we want to have in the world. All of these things come together to make up our lifestyle. I like to think of life as a pie. We have this pie and it's made up of different slices. And for many of us, work takes a bigger slice of the pie than we want. So reducing the size of the work slice can go a long way to help us have enough space in our lives for the other things that are important to us. Now that we have an understanding of lifestyle, let's talk about design. And when I'm thinking about design, I'm not just looking at the dictionary definition. Instead, I'm asking, how do the best designers in the world define it? And this led me to an idea called design thinking. Design thinking is an interactive process that includes a few things. So first, you build a deep understanding of the person who will benefit from what you are creating. You then challenge assumptions that you have or that they might have, and then you redefine the problem. You want to be able to say, this is truly the problem that we are trying to solve. From there, you identify alternative strategies and solutions. And by this, I mean you brainstorm and come up with a ton of potential ideas, including ones that you may have never even considered before. And then finally, you experiment. You create a prototype, test it, and get feedback all along the way so that you can adapt and adjust your path forward. Now that you know how to define lifestyle and design, let's put them together. Here's what we get when we combine these two powerful concepts. And what we get is a lifestyle design framework that can transform the way that we think about our lives. Lifestyle design is an iterative process of designing a life that aligns with your values, strengths, nature, dreams, passions, and purpose. Using the framework of design thinking, lifestyle design is an iterative process. And during that process, you discover your values and your strengths, your dreams, your passions, and your purpose, and you learn a whole lot about what you really want. When I work with my clients in my group coaching program, we break this process into 3 stages. But before I share the stages, I want to share a few examples of what lifestyle design could look like for you. It's important to share examples because it's sometimes difficult to imagine what a different life could look like. Here are some of the most popular examples. You could find a job that you actually enjoy, or you could negotiate more flexibility at work, such as working from home full-time or for part of the week, or even working a compressed schedule of 40 hours and 4 days per week. You could consider reducing the number of hours you work by working part-time or even working seasonally so that you have more time to do the things that you want outside of work. You could start that business that you've always dreamed of, or you could become a digital nomad and travel around the country in an RV or backpack around the world. You could take a sabbatical, a mini retirement, or a career break, or you could even live a semi-retired lifestyle where you only need to cover part of your living expenses with active income. And the best part is that you can mix and match these options. So let me share an example of how I've designed my life over the last few years. As I shared previously, I took a career break in 2018 when I quit my job and focused on recovering from burnout and my mental health challenges. When I went back to work, I decided to go back part-time. This gave me the time to continue my recovery as well as focusing on building our new blog, The Pioneers. When my health improved, and I had more time and energy, I decided not to increase my hours. Instead, I used that energy to launch my lifestyle design group coaching program. The program grew more quickly than expected, and I decided to take the leap to self-employment less than a year later. For a couple of years, I then focused on building the business while Corey, my spouse, continued to work in his traditional job. We started dreaming about the possibility of building out a camper van to travel. So we rented a van, loved the experience, and decided to buy one. And in 2023, Corey quit his job to join me as an entrepreneur. And we're now location independent entrepreneurs, and we traveled for about half the year last year. So these are just some of the options available to you. And what you pursue depends on who you are, what you're interested in, and what energizes you. So now that you have an idea of what lifestyle design could look like, let's talk about how to get started. As I mentioned earlier, my lifestyle design framework has 3 stages. Stage 1 is to identify the elements of your ideal life. Stage 2 is to dream big about what you really want. And stage 3 is to experiment and adjust. In the first stage, mindfulness and reflection are incredibly important. It's geared toward identifying what you want instead of what you should want. It's so easy to get stuck in the shoulds and societal expectations. In this stage in the lifestyle design process, we do a few things. We seek to understand who we really are, what we value, and what we really want. We challenge assumptions about what we should do, who we should be, and what's possible. And then we craft our own definition of success. You can do this by working through a few key activities, including reflection on your ideal day and peak experiences, and auditing your energy and engagement. This will give you an indication of what you really want to spend more time doing. Stage 1 helps you articulate what you love to do, your core motivations, and the conditions that you need to thrive. And that's where we move into stage 2, where we dream big. In this stage, you take everything that you learned about yourself in stage 1 and use it as a launching point to figure out how many possible ways you could bring those different things together. So in this stage, you brainstorm a whole variety of options. I love brainstorming with a group of people because people with different experiences will share ideas that I would have never considered. Then, from your long list of ideas, you can choose the things that you're interested in exploring further. And this brings us to stage 3. In stage 3, you take these big ideas and you figure out how to move from ideas to action. This stage is where you experiment and adjust. You don't have to dive headfirst into one of your big ideas. In fact, you'll likely want to learn a lot more about it before going all in. So in this stage, you start by figuring out all the questions you have. Some of these questions might include things like, will I actually enjoy this? Or do I just think I would enjoy it? How do people actually make money from this? What do I need to learn to move in this direction? Once you have your list of questions, you can determine what steps to take to answer those questions. Those are the experiments. To be clear, an experiment is not internet research. Experiments fall into one of 3 categories. 1, a conversation with a person. 2, an observation or participating in the thing that you want to explore. Or 3, a beta test. So let's talk about an example. When I was exploring my big idea of running a retreat, I did a few things. First, I reached out to everyone I knew who had run retreats to learn about their experience. Second, I attended retreats to see what I really enjoyed about them and what I'd want to do differently when I planned my own. And as a beta test, I shrunk down the experience and facilitated a few local meetups to see if it was something that I actually enjoyed. As you experiment, you learn, and then you can adjust your process based on what you discover. This is where lifestyle design truly becomes an iterative process. Once you experiment, you learn more about yourself and what you want, and it helps you refine the ideal elements of your life, which brings you back to stage 1. And as you experiment and take action, you build confidence, which allows you to dream even bigger and come up with new ideas to explore, which brings you through stage 2. Then you experiment with those even bigger dreams, and the process continues. Lifestyle design does not come without its challenges. It requires discipline to learn more about who you are and what you want. It also requires courage to step out of your comfort zone, dream big, and try new things, and to work through the mental barriers that could hold us back. If this sounds interesting to you and you want guidance, community, and accountability to work through your own lifestyle design process, I'd encourage you to sign up for the waitlist for my Design a Life You Love group coaching program. I open the doors to this program twice a year, and those on the waitlist are the first to hear about it. And while you're waiting for the doors to open, I'd also suggest watching this video on experimentation. It jumps ahead to the 3rd phase of lifestyle design, which is a critical part of the process. And as always, thanks for watching and enjoy the journey.